September 7th. Before we proceed, I'll note that we have remote participation by council members and city staff as authorized under the provisions of Minnesota Open Meeting Law, Section 13D.021 due to the declared state of local public health emergency. The city will be recording and posting this meeting to the city's website and YouTube channel as a means of increasing public access and transparency. This meeting is public and subject to the Minnesota Open Meeting Law. I'll note that today's meeting was called in response to a judge's order. We are unfortunately meeting during the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, so I know we are all feeling very regretful that we had to meet today while folks are celebrating the holiday. And if it had been any way to avoid it, we would have. So just want to note that, and with apologies to our colleagues who are celebrating today. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to verify the presence of a quorum.
Councilmember Schrader.
Here.
Councilmember Osmond.
Here.
Councilmember Cunningham.
Present.
Councilmember Ellison.
Present.
Councilmember Goodman.
Present.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Present.
Councilmember Gordon.
Here.
Councilmember Cano.
Here.
Councilmember Reich.
Here.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Here.
Vice President Jenkins.
Present.
President Bender.
Here.
There are 13 members present.
Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. The agenda is before us. We just have the one item on our agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
I'll move. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
The clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Schrader.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond.
Aye.
Councilmember Cunningham.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
Aye.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Gordon.
Aye.
Councilmember Cano.
Aye.
Councilmember Reich.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Vice President Jenkins.
Aye.
President Bender.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That carries and the agenda is adopted. Under new business, we have one item before the council is proposed resolution, which would adopt title and ballot language for the public safety charter amendment that was initiated by citizen petition. We are holding this meeting today because of a ruling by Judge Anderson. I understand the city attorney's office and clerk are prepared to offer some summary of that order now.
Madam President, I'll defer to our city attorney, Mr. Rauter, who is in the meeting.
Sorry, got a little technical difficulty there. Thank you, Council President. Mr. Clerk, did you have something you were going to put up on the screen? No?
No, I don't at this point, Mr. Rauter. I will be happy to show the resolution. If you want me to have the technical team display that, I certainly can.
Sure, that might be
Okay.
helpful.
I will do that.
I mean, to be brief, because I think we had sent communication out to everybody on the council earlier today about the judge's decision. He found the language last approved by the city council to be insufficient and ultimately directed new language to be drafted consistent with not just this order, but certainly the prior order. And what you see before you today is a proposed ballot question prepared by the city attorney's office this morning, largely based on a draft revised ballot question that we presented to the Policy and Government Oversight Committee, I believe on August 18th. There are some slight changes to that draft from the 18th, and this is what is now displayed up on the screen for everyone to see. So I want to be clear that we now feel that this question has been drafted with the concerns of both of the judge's orders, not just the one from this morning, but the one from the previous one, from a couple of weeks ago. And one drafting error that I would like to just note proactively right now, as this is up on the screen. There was a lot of back and forth in our office today, trying to finalize this language and digest the judge's order as best we could. In the first sentence where it says, shall the Minneapolis City Charter be amended to eliminate the police department and replace it with the Department of Public Safety, we actually intended to not use the word eliminate and use the word remove, because we did feel in our judgment that the word eliminate was too close to the word strike, which, as you may have seen in the judge's order, she had some concerns with the use of that word, and she described what her concerns were. So we felt ultimately that the word remove would be better than eliminate in terms of dealing with the concerns we raised around the word strike. But with all of the back and forth this morning and some last minute just drafting error there, we missed making that change. I can pause there if there are any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from council members? I don't see any. Councilmember Cunningham.
Thank you, Madam President. I was just hoping for some clarification. Will we need to have a motion to change the language that's before us now, or will that just be changed?
Madam President, as the city attorney explained, due to some procedural errors in terms of the attorney and clerk working back and forth, I didn't get the new language. If the council member wishes to move that, certainly Councilmember Cunningham, you are welcome to. I think Mr. Router had read into the record that the word eliminate will be replaced with the word remove. And I've sent that new language to the technical team and asked them to display that. So before any formal action is taken, perhaps we could just give a minute for the technical team to show the new language. And that way we have what's currently in front of the council, which I think is now displayed. Hopefully you can all see the word eliminate has been removed and the word remove has been put in place for the word eliminate. Sorry about that. My apologies.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. So for us, we have what is essentially the staff recommendation for this resolution for the charter question language. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve this language as recommended by staff. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I feel compelled to say that I know this. There's been a lot of back and forth about the details of this question and its wording on the ballot. I know in addition to this, all of you, council members, the mayor, neighbors are having conversations about how to address the multitudes of issues in our city. You know, this question was brought forward by Citizen Petition. It is our ministerial duty to do everything we can to approve language for the ballot this November. And I know that this is just part of the many conversations that are happening within the city's government, within the community itself. Councilmember Gordon.
Well, thank you. And I could have maybe spoken afterwards. I guess I just wanted to maybe have some clarity about the next steps and what's going to happen and what are the chances that this could be stopped again by somebody, because we've seen us approve two things now that went off, well, more than two, but went outside of the city off into the to the county to be on the ballot and got stopped by the courts. So I wonder, should we be expecting somebody to object again and try to get a judge to intervene? Or do we have a commitment from the courts to allow something to go forward?
Thanks, Councilmember. It's probably a question for Mr. Router.
Council President Bender, Councilmember Gordon, thank you. Good question. We don't have any assurances from the judge about what could happen in the future if there is any further action filed at the Hennepin County District Court. I also know from reports in the newspaper today that one of the parties was quoted as saying they were considering filing an appeal, and I can't predict what the success or not of that appeal could be. I can speak that from the city attorney's office, we certainly have not, as you can see today, decided to file any sort of appeal with regard to the judge's decision, and instead focused on drafting language that's consistent with both of her orders. And that's what we have before us today. And we certainly think that we've done our absolute best to satisfy all of the concerns here stated in both of her orders. And so that from at least Judge Anderson's point of view, we would expect this to be approved language. But there is nothing we can do with regard to other parties and what they may decide to do or not. The last thing I would say is my understanding from some conversations with folks at the county that not only are we trying to meet an afternoon deadline to make sure that these can be printed on the ballot, but also there was some communication from the county about the fact that they could choose to not place on the ballot language that in their opinion they felt was substantially similar to the language that was disapproved by Judge Anderson. So certainly with that in mind, we wanted to make sure that the language we created today would put us in danger of the county coming to that conclusion and taking that action.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I'll try to be ready in case there's another emergency meeting. And maybe we can do some research and see what's the most emergency meetings the council's ever been reconvened for over a single issue. And maybe we're setting a new record. I don't know, but thank you very much.
Madam President, I hate to interrupt, Mrs. Casey. Because this is a special emergency meeting, my fear is that we failed to uncouple the automated broadcast. And so we are broadcasting this live meeting on the YouTube channel, but it's no longer broadcasting on the city's cable channel. So if we could just pause for a moment while the technical staff address that issue, that would be appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. I see Council Vice President in queue. Council Vice President, I'll just pause to make sure that we have the technical issues resolved.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I understand that all of our technical issues have been resolved and we are now fully broadcasting on all channels.
All right, thank you. And just for members of the public who may have been trying to watch, this council meeting was called to order shortly after 1:30 p.m. It has been broadcast on the city's YouTube channel and it will be available there for review the whole meeting. It sounds like there were some technical issues. That means that this meeting had not been broadcast to the city's website up until this point, but now that has resolved.
Madam President, just to correct you, it was broadcast. I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. It was being broadcast and then it shut down just in the last 3 minutes.
Okay, all right, then I don't need to review the whole meeting. Thank you. I was about to go into the play-by-play. Okay, so we have a motion before us. Council Vice President Jenkins.
Thank you, Madam President. I just was wanting to ask City Attorney Router to please further explain Hennepin County's ability to change the language or reject the language.
Council President Bender, Council Vice President Jenkins. There was some brief conversation today between one of the members of the County Attorney's Office and one of the members of my team. And it was not extensive communication, but there was a succinct piece of communication that said that if in their opinion, the ballot language, if passed, if any passed by the City Council today, was in their phrase, to use their words, substantially similar to the language that was disallowed by Judge Anderson, they would not agree to print those that language on the ballot, because then I believe their theory was that they could be in violation of the court's order because they were a party defendant to the lawsuit. That's really all I can say or explain about what their position was. And I only give it as context as to one other thing that the City Attorney's Office was taking into consideration when we came up with the language we did today.
What authority, I mean, are you familiar with the authority that allows them to accept or reject ballot language?
I think we're a little bit in an uncharted territory. I think the authority they're primarily concerned with, if I would make my best educated guess, is they want to be in compliance with the judge's order as it pertains to their actions going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe Deputy City Attorney Nilsson, I think maybe wanted to add.
Sure. Council President, Council Vice President Jenkins, adding to City Attorney Router's comments, it's really because at this point, passing updated language, amended language today is the only real possibility of getting this on the November ballot. Any appeal or attempted appeal, even in the most expedited manner possible, at this point would likely blow well beyond any county auditor statutory deadlines that are in play here. So I think it is rooted in the county auditors deadlines as a practical matter more than anything else.
Thank you, Mr. Nilsson.
Thank you. I don't see anyone else in queue. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Schrader.
Aye.
Councilmember Osmond. Aye. Councilmember Cunningham.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellison.
Aye.
Councilmember Goodman.
No.
Councilmember Johnson.
Aye.
Councilmember Palmisano.
Aye.
Councilmember Gordon.
Aye.
Councilmember Kano.
Aye.
Councilmember Reich.
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher.
Aye.
Vice President Jenkins.
Aye.
President Bender.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes and 1 nay.
That carries and the resolution is adopted. I do have a request from Councilmember Fletcher. Councilmember Fletcher.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to comment on the holiday that we're celebrating today, to take the opportunity, if we are going to be coming together, to wish everybody Lashana Tova, a happy and prosperous new year. I have almost every year of my life been challenged with some sort of a conflict that I've had to not do in order to observe Rosh Hashanah. This is the first time in 44 years that I have ever given into that pressure and participated in something. I think the reason I did it is that this was worth it. But I'm cognizant of my role as an elected official in setting a tone for our city about how we respect people's religious practices and about how we respect holidays. And so I just want to emphasize to everybody what an extraordinary circumstance this was, that we received the judge's order this morning, that it had to be responded to today, that this was not something that we could have done. And I would not want this to change the hard-fought rules that we've put in place to make sure that people are able to participate in their religious observances and not be excluded from civic processes. So I'm upset that this happened this way. It was unavoidable. I take issue with the judge's characterization that there wouldn't have been substantial harm if we hadn't got this on the ballot. I think there would be. I think this is important enough that it was worth showing up. And I appreciate my colleague, Councilmember Goodman, also showing up. I want to especially wish you a Shana Tova. We had some discussion amongst ourselves about whether this was the appropriate thing to do. I think it was the right thing. And I hope as we all go back to our celebrations in what we all really need to be a better new year than the one we've had. I just wanted to acknowledge the moment on the holiday and wish everybody a happy and peaceful new year.
Thank you. Councilmember Osman.
Yes, I do want to say thank you, council members who are celebrating this wonderful beginning of the year, Rosh Hashanah. Shana Tova to you, and thank you for showing up. And you know, I celebrate religious the same way my family, and I can definitely understand a big day like this, having something like this. That shows a lot about your character and the person you are. So happy to you and happy to all our community that are celebrating this wonderful start of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. And on that note, Shana Tova to all who are celebrating. It wasn't so long ago that the city did not recognize all holidays equally, and echoing Councilmember Fletcher's words, it's important that moving forward we continue to set aside time for observance for all of the holidays that people are celebrating in our community. Thank you everyone for your participation in today's meeting. We have completed our agenda with nothing further to come before the council, and without objection, we'll stand adjourned.